the concept of the sculptor versus the lottery approach to life. Because if you thought about it, right? I mean, today's day 590, and here's what I learned from Tai Lopez, like number 6 of a 67-step program. It's very old, but some of the frameworks still hold true as I think about how to carry on and explain certain concepts to my own kids. Because what if success isn't really about winning the lottery, right? How often do you talk with your friends like, oh, I just need to win the lottery? But life is not about winning the lottery. It's about sculpting your life one chip at a time, right? So today I want to break down one of the most powerful lessons I've learned, right? The sculptor versus the lottery mindset. And this is how it helped me shift from chasing, right? Instant wins, instant gratifications, the dopamine hit, to building long term wealth, health, and fulfillment. So let's talk about it, right? So some people, if you ever follow TV, they just seem to get lucky, right? While the rest of us are grinding every day just to make progress. Today, I'm going to try to explain the sculptor versus the lottery mindset with just very simple analogies that even a fifth grader can understand. And again, I'm working on becoming a better dad. So if you have better ideas or better analogies that you think I can kind of share, please let me know. All right. Because I'm just trying to become a better dad. So leave a comment down below if you have any better analogies. Right. So let's talk about, imagine there are two kids, right? One is told that, hey, life is like a lottery ticket. If you're lucky, you scratch the right number and boom, you're rich, you're famous, you got a mansion, you got a sports car, you get to go on all the vacations you want. But if you're not lucky, tough luck. Better luck next life, right? Or then there's another kid, and that kid is told, hey, life is similar to sculpting a statue from a giant rock, right? You get to choose your rock. That's your career, right? Your profession, your values, your strengths. And then every single day, you chip away at that rock. It's slow. Sometimes you make mistakes, even, but each little chisel, right? That gets you something closer. It gets you closer to something very beautiful at the end of the day. And here's the question: which kid do you think will be more prepared for real life? I know my answer. So let's also talk about media bias, right? And I want to talk about something that maybe you can relate to. Because why do you think so many people believe in the lottery ticket version of life, right? It's got a lot to do with what we see on TV, right? Social media, magazines, because people advertise people getting rich overnight. The media loves showing people after they've made it, right? The mansion, the Lamborghinis, the billions, but he skipped the part where someone worked probably 10 years in silence. They failed on probably a dozen times on businesses or to big decisions, but they kept going anyway. Very similar. Like when I go to the beach, right? Sometimes I am very scared of the ocean because I'm scared of sharks. Why? Because I saw the movie Jaws, and sometimes they always talk about shark attacks on the news. But here's the truth, right? You're much more likely to be hit by a falling airplane part than getting attacked by a shark. So why do we fear sharks? It's because the media shows it over and over again. It's dramatic, it gets views, and that's media bias. That's why I don't recommend watching and following the news that often because it affects how we think about our fears and even about how we think about success, right? Imagine you show a picture of a sculpture and you never mention how many years it probably took that person to create that sculpture in the past. So, when it comes to real estate, right? Here's how it applies to real life and real estate. When I first started in real estate, I didn't have a big team, I didn't have any resources, barely had any money, but I learned, you've thought about it, right? I chiseled at it in the beginning, which is books. listening to podcasts, because that rock was my mission. I was learning how to create a life around real estate. And I knew that taking one step ahead of each other will reveal the next step, right? But the mission was always to create and build affordable homes. That was always the mission. So each podcast that we did, right? Every investor, lender, developer, contractor that we had on, that was just tap of the chisel, right? It's not flashy, was certainly not overnight. But now we've been able to inspire so many people who are helping other families find stable housing. That's something I'm really proud of. And I find incredibly fulfilling, more than any amount of money can ever replace. Right. So real estate is the definition of not a lottery ticket, right? It's a sculpture. You have to figure out how you're going to chip away at your goal. And let me pause here, right? Especially if you're a parent like me, one of the greatest gifts we can give our kids is to teach them that success is earned, not won, right? We don't teach them to buy lottery tickets. We teach them to build character. We teach them to be kind, be consistent, and to chip away at their goals, even when it's boring, hard, or slow. I mean, if you're new to watching this channel, I mean, I know you care about doing good because otherwise you wouldn't be here. And that's the mindset to live by, right? The projects that we build that we're after are sculpted with care, right? With the vision. We care about doing things right. We care about the community impact. So, one more bias you want to watch out for. This is called the narrative bias, right? This is when we hear stories like, oh, this guy started a hot dog stand and now he's a billionaire. And we think, okay, I'll just start a hot dog stand. I loved hearing about the guy where he had the Ring doorbell and he got turned down on Shark Tank. And then he got a $1 billion offer later. What a great story. But imagine how many times he probably got slapped in the face before that, right? People turning him down, no, because he didn't know how to speak correctly, right? He didn't know how to pitch correctly. He didn't know how to open correctly, right? So those stories, they skip those success stories. They also skip like 99 other people who also started a similar business, right? And failed. Or maybe the years of experience or failures that came before the success that we always hear about. So my lesson for my kids is just to be careful with simplified stories, right? Real success isn't just one lucky break. It's many smart choices consistently made over time. So what does this mean for you, right? It means that you get to choose your rock. Maybe it's real estate, maybe it's nonprofit work, maybe it's being just the best parent or coach in your neighborhood. Whatever it is, pick it and start chipping. Don't wait for the perfect idea. That's what's crazy about it. When I started the podcast, I thought about calling it How to Quit Your 9 to 5. And as I got to speak more about affordable housing, and I learned about my parents' stories, that's when I decided affordable housing. That's what I'm focusing the podcast on because I can do that forever. And if I did not realize that I could do that forever, I'm not sure I would still be doing it today, right? It's been 3 years since I started the podcast, but we're still going, all right? So don't chase the trends. Don't try to sell dreams with those one hit headlines, right? Because then you can attract the right people. Because when you're trying to attract the masses and you're trying to sell like $10 get rich quick course, that's not the right people you want in your life, anyways. You want people that are willing to be in the trench with you, right? Because I believe that's the legacy you want to build, whether you're a parent, an investor, or just someone starting out. Doesn't matter what it is. Find the people that are going to be willing to do the work because there's no worse relationship or partnership than someone that you don't match in terms of work ethics. That never works. So today's Mother's Day. And I'm so grateful for my family. And this is why we do this, right? Every single day, we try to become better parents every single day. We try to show up differently for our kids every single day. I have so much fun doing this. This is so worth it. And if I had a message for my kids, sorry, just in case our time comes earlier than we expect, it's reminding them to love the process that they're in, love the rock that they chose. But I'm gonna remind them every day to pick up that chisel and just chip away at it. And never let the media make you believe that success is easy, instant, or accidental. Because guess what? It's not. But we know what's even better about that is that success won't be a surprise, which is such a gift. If you do the work every single day, you're going to outlast everybody. And you'll realize soon enough that most people can win if they simply just outlast everybody. Sometimes we think there's just so much competition, but when you think about it, there really is not that much competition. So please keep going. I believe in you. All right. Have a happy Sunday, everybody. I hope you all got to spend some quality time with your family and friends today because that's what life is all about. I hope you all have an amazing Sunday. I'll see you back here for day 591. All right. Have a good one, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.